The usurper needed to rule by fear, but the most frightened person in England was him, who'd seized the throne and killed King Richard, was a frightened man. He made himself sick with worry. Sometimes he sank into a coma. People said he had leprosy. Government was taken over by his son, also called Henry, a young man who'd grown up fighting on his father's behalf. In fact, Parliament suggested that the king abdicate in his son's favour, which he refused to do. In 1413, the Grim Reaper came with a more convincing offer. He was only 45 years old, and the 26-year-old Henry V was crowned in April in a snowstorm. Henry V did all he could to get the country back onto a stable footing. He gave Richard II's remains a proper burial, and of course he got back to the important business of invading France. France was still in a state of disintegration, ruled by Charles VI, a man with a severe mental disturbance. In a fit of derangement, he'd slaughtered his own attendants. Now he believed that he was made of glass and about to break. He actually had iron rods stitched into his clothing. It was easy meat, and Henry's overwhelming victory at Agincourt in 1415 destroyed much of France's aristocracy. The English king was now in control of Paris. Charles, very fragile, agreed to acknowledge Henry as heir to the French throne. This meant disinheriting his own son, the Dauphin. And Henry took Charles's sister, Catherine de Valois, as his bride. What a great place to end the story. England safe, Edward III's plan to take over France brought to fruition, a genuinely popular king, and they all lived happily ever after. Not. In 1422, Henry V, not yet 35 years old, contracted dysentery and died. England had a new king, Henry and Catherine's son, Henry VI. 6 weeks later, the King of France also died, and Henry VI became King of France.